guys, MCU Review here. This is Mike, and today I have a list for you. Top 5 Marvel characters that I want to see brought into the MCU. I'm also trying this new way of filming with me standing up, so let me know what you think of it. You do see a little less of the beautiful posters, but I don't know, just give me your feedback on that. And anyway, to get on with it, this is my personal top 5 picks for who I would just love to see introduced into the MCU in no particular order. So first off, we have Captain or Miss Marvel. I mean, she is just a total badass. I would really like to see Carol Danvers introduced into the MCU. I think she'd be a phenomenal character. She would work really well with the Avengers. If you've seen Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, that is a great feature of her, I guess I'll say. You know, she's really great in there. It's definitely something to watch if you're a fan of the character, besides reading the comics, of course. But yeah, and I know the current Miss Marvel has a pretty successful comic issue as well. So that's always something to look into if you like her. But I think that, you know, the OG Carol would definitely be where I'd like a Captain or Miss Marvel movie to focus. It would be interesting because the Marvel doesn't have a female lead movie yet, so it would certainly be a good choice for that. There's another choice on the list that I think would work pretty well too, and either of them I'd be happy with. But I definitely think this would be a great idea for a first female-driven movie. She's also a very strong character, so she can certainly hold her own. She can fire like photon blasts from her hands. She has flight. She has superhuman strength, speed. I think a little bit agility. I don't know. It's like that whole list of superhuman everything. But yeah, she's a really strong character, and she definitely is pretty interesting. You know, in the MCU, I think, and she's on the more cosmic side, so I think if they include her, it would definitely be nice after Guardians. You know, they'd be able to jump into the whole like cosmos and bigger galaxy type thing that they're starting to look into now. So I mean, I hope that we see her. I know that Kevin Feige said she's one of like the 2 characters that they have requested the most, and they're definitely interested in a movie. Speaking of those 2 characters that Kevin Feige always gets requests for, the other one is Black Panther, and he is my second pick for a character who I think should get their own movie. Black Panther is a total badass. I mean, he was trained to be a warrior from birth. He has access to the vibranium as King of Wakanda, you know, which gives him lots of cool weapons. I know he has those daggers that he uses. His suit is made of a mesh that can withstand a hit from the Hulk. I mean, this guy is just like, there's nothing not to like about him. You know, he's a master hand-to-hand combatant. He has very heightened senses. He is incredibly strong, and in addition to all of what I've just said, he gets powers from the Panther King, and that includes like even like better sense of smell, even greater strength, and it just makes him into one crazy strong character. But yeah, I mean, he's a genius. You know, he got a degree in Oxford and stuff like that. He is a genius. He rivals Tony Stark, and he's usually able to discern like any technology. As long as he's an introduction to it, you know, he's able to use it. So I mean, he'd be a great character to bounce off of Banner and Tony in that same super intelligence kind of way. And he's just such a cool character. And I don't know, he has like this like humble, honorable nature to him. I feel it probably comes from like his Wakandan roots. To me, he has a really cool feel in that regard, and he certainly has some cool enemies that I would love to see in the movie. Claw would be pretty cool. Killmonger maybe. You know, I feel like they'd probably go with Manape or whatever, who you know ends up killing T'Chaka, his father. He is T'Challa. Black Panther is T'Challa. His father was the Panther before him. But yeah, I mean they would probably do that for the origin story, which would be a good way of introducing him. I mean he was introduced in Fantastic Four, so maybe, I mean they can't really do something with that, but. Who knows what we'll see in a movie for him, but I think it'd be really exciting, and I'd love for him to be pulled in the Avengers eventually, because he's a super interesting character. And I mean, he also he was able to defeat all the Fantastic Four on his own, because he studied the Skrulls. He was able to defeat a Super Skrull that had Wolverine's claws, the flying styles of Captain America, the aim of Bullseye, you know, etc. This one powerful you know, Skrull, and he took him down. He's a very cool character, and he and his Wakandan forces even were able to to take on Namor and Atlantis and squash them. So I would definitely like to see Black Panther introduced. I think he's a phenomenal character. Again, if you watch Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Hero, that cartoon show, it's a really good way to see a lot of Black Panther. So check that out if you like him. The other character that I think should get their own movie is the third is Nova. Nova, Richard Rider, is really, really cool. I like the origins of how he came to a Nova Force. It was whoever Day, I forget his name. I forget his first name. It's something with an R. Like I'm blanking on it, but he was featured in Guardians of the Galaxy. He was the one who said, "I don't believe anybody's a total dick, ma'am." But he had the Nova Force, and he was, after Xandar was destroyed, going to Earth. He just wanted to find somebody to bestow the power upon, but he ran out of time, and he just had to pass it on to some unsuspecting human and hope that they would be good and be a good choice and use that Nova Force well. And he turned out to give it to Richard Rider, who is just a total badass himself. The Nova Force grants him quite a lot of powers. He has flight, he has superhuman strength. With the World Mind, he can hit targets within millimeters with energy blasts that he can fire, concussive blasts. So I mean, there's a lot to like about him. He's another powerful dude who I think would just be a great addition to the MCU. He fought Annihilus, and even though he had a little bit of help there, I mean, it was still really, really cool. From what I've seen of that, he actually discerns that the gaps in Annihilus' armor are his mouth, and he forces his hand in, and then he says, "This is for the Nova Corps," and that's a really, really cool scene. But I don't know what capacity we'll get Richard Rider in. He's done a lot. He was Quasar at some point too. I know he did stuff with Galactus, so I don't know. I don't know where we see him. I don't particularly care what we see him do, but I really, really want him to at the very least be introduced. I think it'd be cool to see him get his own movie. I know he helped Star-Lord form the Guardians, which, I mean, that's already been formed in the MCU. But they could definitely show him in his own movie, and I think that'd be something cool. They can incorporate the Nova Corps too. I don't know if they would do World Mind or all that, but Richard Rider's a cool dude, and I would be more than happy to see a movie with him. It would again explore that cosmic aspect. The fourth person who I'm going to talk about, who I think should get their own movie, is Black Widow, and this is the only character on the list who's already in the MCU. But I know there's a lot of talk about Black Widow getting her own movie. I think at this point she definitely deserves it. She's a really strong character. I mean, obviously she's solid all around. She's a great fighter. She is one of the first 6 Avengers in the MCU. And I just think a movie would be a great opportunity to really explore her a little bit more, and they could explore Hawkeye as well. I would like to see the movie include Hawkeye, for sure. I think those two had a lot going for them. They haven't really touched on that as heavily in the MCU. And I know they keep mentioning Budapest, and they're probably going to explain it at some point. This movie could be a way to explain that, to tell us what happened at Budapest. But it's it'd be a great opportunity to see the two of them together. And I know Jeremy Renner said he doesn't want his own movie. He wants to be a supporting character. Splash into Cap, splash into Black Widow. But I think that'd be a great idea, and having a movie like this would be a great way to give Hawkeye a little more time. But I think it would be a good idea to make it focus on Black Widow. She's a very history character. I know she's had her own comics that she's been able to support. She's a huge following in the MCU. A lot of people really like her. This could be their first female lead superhero movie, if they did this before Captain or Miss Marvel. But Black Widow, she's a very interesting character, and I don't feel like they really explored like the negative sides of her, like her as like a Russian spy and stuff, and her well enough in that regard. I was convinced through Captain America 2 that she was a good guy, just because I couldn't really see them playing her off, as somebody bad, and it turns out I was right. But I feel like they never really established like her dark past. There's the lead scene in Captain America 2, where Pierce goes at her a little bit more for things that's happened in her past. But I'd like to see them explore Budapest. I know Kevin Feige says they have a demand for a Black Widow movie. Scarlett Johansson has the star power, so it'll be interesting to see if Marvel incorporates something in that regard. And I mean, I don't know how they're going to fit all these movies in, but they have movies planned until 2028. Who knows what we'll see. The last character that I'm going to talk about is possibly one of the movies we're closest to, considering Feige has dropped hints that we may get it. That is an Inhumans or Black Bolt movie. I know the Inhumans are technically multiple characters, but Black Bolt is the king of the Inhumans royal family. He is the main character. He is the strongest. So I'm going to say a Black Bolt movie. They could introduce him alone, but more likely they would introduce him in an Inhumans movie. I think I would rather they introduce him in an Inhumans movie, but he's on this list / the Inhumans like Medusa, Lockjaw, Crystal, etc. But if you don't know who Black Bolt is, or if you don't know who the Inhumans are, they're more powerful than regular humans. They were made by the Kree. You can look more into them yourselves. It's really interesting history. But Black Bolt is a very, very powerful hero. His most prominent and most well-known feature is his quasi-sonic scream. It is incredibly powerful. It is absolutely devastating. He cannot even talk because of how powerful his voice is. I forget the exact explanation, but it has to do with like electrons reacting when he speaks. It's actually pretty cool if you look into the explanation. But because of that, he is unable to talk. He has a telepathic ability with his wife and cousin Medusa. I know it's weird, just don't ask. But she usually says anything that he needs to have said because he doesn't speak. His evil brother Maximus is a cool character. I think if they had an Inhumans or Black Bolt movie, it would really be not a bad idea if they explored Black Bolt accidentally killing his parents because of Maximus and him dealing with the grief and the guilt of that. I think that'd be an interesting angle to explore. Regardless if they had an Inhumans movie, I feel like Maximus would have to be the villain regardless. But I think Black Bolt's an interesting character. He's certainly very, very powerful. He is not a dude to be messed with. I think that introducing him in the Inhumans would be absolutely phenomenal. I'd love to see him in the MCU. They're certainly a pretty cool host of characters. And I know Kevin Feige said at one point, he messaged Vin saying, "Hey, do you want a part sooner than 2017?" And Vin Diesel's dropped hints that he might be Black Bolt, so that's why a lot of people think that we're getting an Inhumans movie sometime soon. I don't know, I'm not going to count on it, it's far from confirmed, but it's something nonetheless, and it's something to hold on to there. But yeah, that's the top 5 characters who I would like to see get their own movie in the MCU. I think all of them would be great choices. Honorable mention to Moon Knight. Moon Knight is a fighter, he's a detective, he has powers from an Egyptian god, Khonshu. He's a really cool dude, look into him too. I like him. I'd rather see these movies first, and I think a show for Moon Knight, similar to how they're doing like Daredevil and the Defenders right now, I think that would definitely be really cool, and that'd be an angle to take Moon Knight in instead of his own movie. You let me know what your thoughts on that are. Let me know what your top 5 list is. I know, mine was Captain Marvel, Black Panther, Black Widow, Black Bolt, and Nova. But who would you choose? Do you think we're going to get one sooner than the other? Who are you banking on to come out in their own movie? Let me know all that, whatever you think. Like, comment, subscribe, the whole deal, This is MCU Review. See you guys next time.